never in my life talked smack to an OSU person after the fact, but these OSU people, they sure do like to do it. You know what I'm talking about, Laura.
Opportunities, boy.
Brent Bryant does the same stuff. Congrats to your Cowboys.
They're a work in progress.
Well, they better not take too long to progress since they got to rent a player in Cade Cunningham.
So that wasn't the case with Trae Young? Well, kind of.
Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes, Councilman Stonecipher, how are you?
I was just going to tell you congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Now just a few more weeks of campaigning. Come on, April 6th.
You're unmuted.
Mr. Chair, did staff provide you with a chairman's script?
They did.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, I have 2 o'clock. So let's call to order the March 2nd meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. Thank you for joining us in the video conference meeting. We have a few announcements to make regarding the video conference meeting. If the video conference is disconnected at any time during the meeting shall be stopped and reconvened once the connection is restored. If communications are unable to be restored within 30 minutes, items remaining for consideration will be continued to later today at 4 p.m. via video conference. The agenda documents are located at okc.gov. Anyone wishing to speak about an agenda item, public hearing, or to speak under citizens to be heard must call 405-297-2422 or email ocwut-support@okc.gov. Please provide your name, phone number, the item number, and the reason you wish to comment. If you call in after your item has been heard, you will be allowed to speak under citizens to be heard. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to comment. Staff will attempt to submit requests received during the meeting to the chair. Please press *6 to speak when recognized by the chair. All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the February 16th meeting. Are there any comments? If not, is there a motion to approve? Okay, motion by Trustee Martinez Brooks and a second by Trustee McAtee. Please vote. And I vote aye.
Nikki, I'm not getting voting buttons. Is there something I need to do?
You could try pressing escape on your keyboard. To see if that opens it up on your other screen.
Nope,
Hit-
I
I hit escape and it worked.
hit escape and it didn't.
So select your Chrome button. The green, red, and yellow circle. That should bring your PrimeGov up.
Well, I have it up. I mean, I see the motion and the second.
All right, let me have you is in. All right, do you want to voice vote on this one and we'll see if it gives it to you next time? Maybe it lagged.
I vote aye.
So the motion passes.
Yes.
All right. Next up is the consent docket. There are a number of items this morning or this afternoon. Are there any we would like to pull and discuss individually? Mr. General Manager, could you talk to us a little bit about item K and the solid waste operations resolution?
Yes, sir. I would be happy to. This morning at the council meeting and also at the OSEAT meeting on the council agenda, council voted to approve the transition of the solid waste management services to Aquit to effectuate the merger. They approved the documents to handle the bonds and the development of the escrow account so we can defease the bonds. And they approved the lease of the assets to Aquit. This item would actually approve the lease by Aquit for the solid waste management system and assets for a 50-year term. It would authorize the acceptance of the assignment or transfer of agreements, assets, licenses, and certificates to Aquit. It would provide for an amendment to the financial indenture and agreements to include the solid waste management system. And then it would also authorize the execution of all other documents to effectuate the transfer of the ownership responsibilities of the solid waste management system to Aquit. So the timeline would be, generally speaking, there are a number of documents that need to be developed and signed by the mayor and the chairman of the trust, and also the development of the trust accounts to manage the defeasance of the OSEAT debt. And then the total acceptance of the responsibilities of OSEAT by Aquit. So more than likely we'll get all that done between now and the end of April. And then there are a couple of more formalities that need to be executed that will continue into June. And then the defeasance of the OSEAT debt will take place in July of 27, and then OSEAT will be formally dissolved at that time. So the operation of the solid waste management system will turn over to Aquit as soon as all the documents are executed over the next couple of months. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. This is kind of a big deal to get this done. The utilities department has been operating the solid waste division since the late 90s. And this really will bring some efficiencies. It will help the coverage ratio on Aquit with the bonds. There's some real benefits as we go forward with it. So I think this is a really good move. Are there any other questions or comments regarding the consent docket?
I would just add that Chris did a great job explaining it to the city council today on something that was not easily explainable, but he did a great job.
Councilman, I was properly schooled in that regard.
Very good. Is there a motion? Oh, go ahead.
Comment. Chris, I was listening to council this morning and heard one of the follow-up questions. I don't know if you had a chance to find out when the Waste Management Trust was set up. I think it was a question from Councilman Cooper.
So OC was developed in 79.
In 79.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Is there a motion? And a second? Please record your vote. I vote yes. And does the motion pass? I can't see.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
yes,
good.
Chairman, it did.
All right. Next up, item 4 is the concurrence docket. There's one item. No Aquid funds are involved in it. Is there a motion? And a second? Please record your vote. I vote aye. And the motion passes.
Motion passes.
Item 5 are emergency construction contracts. There are 2. Are there any questions or comments regarding the emergency construction contracts? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
I do have a quick question. So sorry. Were any of these caused by the severe weather that we had a couple weeks ago?
Oh, ma'am, they were not.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Other questions? Please vote. And it passes?
Mr. Chairman, how do you vote?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I vote aye.
The motion passes.
Great. There are no items for individual consideration. Items from trustees. Trustees have comments this afternoon?
I do have a couple of questions actually. With the issues that we had with water with the terrible temperatures over the past couple of weeks, will there be an increased level of cost to residents that they should expect to see on their water bill? Not only just from them dripping their faucets, but will there be an increased rate that we're going with because of the high demand?
There will not be an increased rate. As a matter of fact, we're looking at alternatives so that we can help the people who ran their water to keep their pipes from freezing. It will be handled based on contact with us. Some customers will actually reach out to us and some will not. And we'll work with those customers on their rate that they where they use that water for emergency purposes to keep their plumbing from freezing. There will also be conversations with our customers who have had plumbing issues during that time where they got them repaired. And under our ordinance, we can make adjustments to their bills based on the repair of that lost water. So we'll work with them as well. We're not planning on making a holistic adjustment accordingly. And we need to keep in mind, it cost us money to produce the water, deliver the water, and to collect the wastewater for those faucets that dripped or ran down the drain into the sewer system and then treat that. So we're not planning on waiving the cost. That would be a gratuity and we can't do that, but we'll work with customers to help them with their bill as much as we can.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
Chris, we've had an incredibly, difficult last few weeks to say the least. What's the impact on that? What's the effect on our employees? What will the future bring as a result of that difficult time period?
Councilman, we learned a thing or two. We had a hot wash last week to discuss things that went well, things that we struggled with, and things that just flat didn't work. and we're formulating a report, and I'd be happy to provide a copy of the report, or more realistically, to provide a summary to you all as soon as we get it done. We had challenges with our generators, but at 14 below zero, diesel fuel just doesn't flow. It turns to jelly. So we have some work to do there. Fortunately, we didn't have the rolling blackout. It did not impact our treatment facilities, neither the water or the wastewater. There was a huge impact on staff. We all worked probably 100+ hours a week for that 2-week period. And we were looking hard to find out what was going on with the system. And we just knew we had large water main breaks out in the system somewhere. But I know for fact, because I was one of them who got in the car and drove all day long looking for that big break, along with many other employees, to see if we could find it, because we had very, very low pressures all over the system. And the only thing we can come up with is it got so cold that the pipes just kind of loosened up, for lack of a better term. We have 4,000 miles of pipe, and they're all generally 20-foot joints of pipe, and they all have a gasket. And I don't know if you all have a pool, but if you do, if you look at your swimming pool pipes and pumps, they probably leaked during that time. And I called the pool company to ask them about that, and they said, yeah, the gaskets get kind of tight, and they'll start leaking. But don't worry, they'll go back to normal after it warms up, and they'll seal again. And so that was kind of my theory, that the whole system just loosened up, and we lost pressure throughout the whole system, because we were pumping 175 million gallons of water a day. And our normal flow this time of the year is about 80. And so 100 million plus was going somewhere, and it wasn't coming out of the ground. Now, we had a lot of small leaks and a lot of small breaks, and we still have about 200 leaks that we're working on, but that doesn't equal 100 million gallons a day. And we didn't find that huge break. And it's unlikely that our customers used 100 million gallons a day every day, extra. Maybe during the coldest period of time, because there were a few plumbers who got on the news and said, oh, you need to turn all your faucets on about halfway and let them run. So we may have had a lot of peak usage, but then when it warmed up, the usage continued. And I find it hard to believe that our customers left their water dripping last Saturday and Sunday. It warmed up, or a week ago, Saturday and Sunday. So as every day passes, the impact on the system has lessened. Our demand yesterday was 96 million gallons. So we have reduced the demand significantly. Now, we've fixed leaks, we've fixed breaks, but again, not 70, 80 million gallons worth of leaks and breaks. The superintendent of line maintenance actually had a conversation with another system manager in Michigan, and kind of bounced that theory off of them. And they said, absolutely. It happens to us in the wintertime when it gets extremely cold. And their pipes are buried about 8 feet deep, where ours are only buried on the average of 4. We actually have some less than 4. And so it got so cold for so long. If you recall, prior to the serious cold weather, it never got above freezing for that whole week prior. And then it was below zero for several days without hardly getting above zero. So there's a likelihood that the ground encapsulating the pipes got really cold and may have impacted those pipes. But the good thing is our pressures are generally restored. Our system is generally restored, and the demand is going down to normal levels. So that's kind of a long answer to your question.
All I can say is we really appreciated all of our employees' hard work. And while we were watching things on the news, their hard work did not go unnoticed. Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. They appreciate that. And I know we received a lot of accolades on social media. And we did the best we could to serve our customers. I can assure you of that.
That was a very, very severe storm. Never seen anything like it that has hit this utility.
Yes.
Other items from trustees?
And thank you, Chris, for everything that you did about keeping us informed. And, I know you were getting 1,000 text messages and probably even more phone calls. So I just really appreciate you keeping us in the loop as well. And especially those city staff workers who were down in trenches and trying to dig out of the ice to make things happen and repair water lines. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. And the other thing that I'd like to point out as well is we serve a lot of other people in central Oklahoma. And if it hadn't have been for the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust, those cities would have been out of water because they lost their water treatment abilities for one reason or another. Even the city of Norman experienced some significant issue, and we provided water to them, the city of El Reno, and other cities who supplement their system with ours when their system became impacted by the storm. So we actually provided a service all around, even though it wasn't the same level of service that we normally provide. We provided water to about 1.4 million people successfully, even though some of those days were pretty challenging.
Well, thank you. Chris, do you have anything to add under general manager reports?
Well, just one. So I had 2 items, but I already covered the one. So the other one is the delinquent account report. The number is about 6,400. It's gone up just a little from the last report of around 6,000. And the total amount is about 5.9 million, which is a few $100,000 above the last report. So we are going to start issuing notices to disconnect service, but we needed to get past the storm. We were going to do it earlier, but we just got inundated with calls and are still inundated with calls. So we just to be honest with you, we can't handle the number of calls that we're going to get when we start disconnecting service, but we'll start that back up as soon as we get everything else back to normal as far as our call center is concerned. So just wanted to give you an update on that. But we're still working diligently with our customers to get them to sign up for payments and to get their accounts back in order. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. I understand there are no citizens to be heard. So therefore, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a great day.